Hello everybody, welcome back to Victoria, to the Supernations mod as the United States of America in our North American Union campaign. Last episode we did go ahead and finish the War of the Isthmus, and now we are currently facing off here in Liberia, where I think we have enough vessels now. I'm going to actually increase the maintenance to get those repaired and get these two armies sent down there, because we're going to need them there as soon as war starts breaking out. It's going to be pretty interesting. Let's do that. Bolivia, Empire Brazil, that's fine. We actually create another army, probably. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be overseas, but we can probably still get that done. We're going to start doing maybe these first. Yeah, we're going to have to do that anyways. If we're going to do that, let's go ahead and get rid of that one and just do Lincolnia or Port-au-Prince. And that should be good as far as those go, right? I counted it right? Yep. I'm going to take probably 2... Let's take the Cobra transports. This fleet has 22, while these armies are at 14. So I'm only do one army at a time. That should still be fine. Let's wait for them to increase a little bit as far as the repair goes. And we create a state in Idaho. Fantastic. And so with this fleet here, it's at 65%. I'll wait one more month. Oh, we actually can't do what I thought we were going to do. Never mind. We're going to send this fleet over here. I thought we had Cuba. My mind is still back when I'm doing the test run. We do not have Cuba. That's for sure. So Washington's going to be a state now. Great. Welcome to the Union, my friend. We have a lot of territories in the Union, but it should be fine regardless. Empire of Brazil. Great. You can stay offering me peace offers. Or not peace offers. You know, being friendly. So now we have about 600 more capitalists in the country. And it's showing we should probably go ahead and decrease our taxes a little bit. We do not want to gain war exhaustion, so we're just going to gain consciousness. That's fine by me. Alright, so now they're not paying anything. So now you see we have more capitalists who are investing in projects. As long as I can't say. Okay, there we go. Oh, I accidentally clicked it, so it turned it off. Let's see if we can find our capitalist on here, because I want to see how they are faring. Let's look at New York, actually. I know New York has capitalist. So let's look over here, and there you are, my little capitalist. So they have a lot of cash. Their income is doing great. Their expenses are 223, so their income and their expenses do not balance out. Or it sort of does. It sort of does. So they are increasing their little cash flow. Okay, so maybe it is fine. As long as our capitalists are making money, we are doing in a good position as far as the laissez-faire economy system goes, and we are going to start really booming as far as our industry. We can actually boost our industrial score by building stuff in these lands as well. Oh wait, you can't do foreign investment because we're Democrats. International crisis in Bohemia. Really? North German Federation is going to back them. And all it is the UK who's going to back the North German Federation. Okay, so say hello to Bohemia, guys. Yeah. The UK is definitely going to... Yep, they're definitely supporting them. The Windward Coast. Here we go. So, the Windward Coast has now been integrated to the growing Liberia. It appears our aid and the increased focus on expansion has been rewarded. Liberia gets the Windward Coast event. They are expanding, guys. Pinkerton's Detective Agency. They will never, or we will never sleep. We never sleep. There we go. These navies should be completely repaired. So I'm going to send the first army down there. Michael Custer, you, my friend, are going to be sent to Monrovia. And only one army down there as of right now should be mostly fine. This army's actually completely done. 4, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Said you to Atlantic City. You need 2 engineers. I can do that. Chicago and Hermosillo. Port au Prince looks like it's still building. Yeah. Bohemia Moravia acquires all core provinces. So, yep, there we go. Bohemia Moravia is now under the North German Federation, but they are Czech. So, of course, they're not going to be annexed by North Germans. As soon as North Germany gets Baden, then we'll see a Germany form. Are they actually working on Luxembourg at all? They are not. They are not. They are working on Baden. And Hungary is trying to get them loose, but it's not going to happen. North Germany's got it. So we're going to see Germany forming relatively... Why did they do that? I would have waited until 65, banned the Austrians, and leave it at that. Otherwise, you're just going to keep expelling them constantly, over and over and over again. Create a state up here. Granted. So Saskatchewan. I don't speak Indian or Native American languages, so of course that's not. I don't pronounce things very well. So this army should be fine here for now. Oregon. Create a state. Welcome to the Grand Union. And I'm curious what's going on in Baden here. Because Germany could go straight up. All they need to do is just ban them. That's all they need to do. Let's do cheap iron. Then an organic chemistry, and then these naval techs. So yeah, cheap iron is doing good. Machine parts output. And we're definitely making a lot more money now. You can see industry is slowly going up. And I'm going to stay in Northern Ontario before we get to the event. Excellent. So Ivory Coast. So Liberia, after finishing expansion to the Windward Coast, has begun to send expeditionary parties into the Ivory Coast, which is down here. It has effectively been claimed by Liberia. So Liberia expands to the Ivory Coast. They're expanding. Our efforts are certainly helping. And in fact, they get an increased life rating. The Liberians settle it. I just figured, you know, these are obviously plains. Life rating increases is fine by me. Plus, they're better suited to... I'm not going to get into that. Seward's Midway. Oh. I forgot I put this event in. I want this, but I am constantly... Actually, it looks like we are good. We can afford to take Trinket Healthcare, but the next time we do take a social reform, we're going to have to focus on what the people want. So Seward's Midway, this is one of the flavor events I added in just the past few days. So in 1867, under the direction of Secretary of State Seward, the United States Navy has endeavored and taken possession of and annexed the islands of Midway as the new unincorporated territory of Midway Island. With the acquisition of the islands, more of those. The United States of America now possesses a coaling station for any vessels transiting between Asia and the Americas. So get Midway Island. Midway. Let's build a naval base there. If we build a naval base there, we won't be able to build it in Hawaii. Which is interesting, but... No, we'll wait for Hawaii. It's fine, guys. Let's go for something a little bit more realistic, because if we had to choose between Hawaii and the Midway Islands, I think we would build a naval base over in Hawaii. Okay, so build Navy. We have 129,000 monies now, so we can actually afford to build some more naval bases, which we're going to go ahead and do. And there. We can actually probably work on building, though it's not really much. I don't expect a serious incursion from South America into our lands. So forts, for us, is actually not that useful. Of course, if you're in Europe, it's going to be a different thing. So I know even Otto von Bismarck, this is about, no, I think he's a chancellor in 18, no, he's actually chancellor right now. he said the Americans have it lucky because they are surrounded or neighbors to a weak neighbor in the north and a weak neighbor in the south, and to the east and west are surrounded by fish. So, of course, forts aren't necessary for the Americans in this case. Chile and Venezuela, that's fine. Actually, Venezuela, I'm going to go ahead and ally. They are unlikely to go to any wars simply because they don't have any cores on anybody. So we are fine here. So Venezuela, we can be friends. Let's go and start doing that, actually. Because Argentina, let's just do that. Chile, you have cores on people, so I do not actually want to. You have cores on Peru, and I'm afraid you would actually attack Peru. In fact, there's not really anybody. Maybe, well, Colombia obviously isn't going to like me. Uruguay would actually be fine as an ally. So we can go ahead and try to sphere them as of right now. But all these other nations are just going to keep going to war with each other until we, of course, step in and stop them, which will be in the future. Pro-military. Yes. Let's go with the Republicans re-elected. Surge of socialism. Alright, that's fine. So we're getting a bit of money. Oh, new colony disappeared. Everything's actually going pretty well. Let's go ahead and increase our bureaucrats spending. That's going to help them as far as having appropriate income levels, which actually increases our taxes slightly. So it kind of balances out a little bit. Ooh, let's create states again. So South Dakota is granted statehood, and of course Utah. Welcome to the Union, my friends. And so the northwest of Liberia. So Liberia has ultimately finished their expansion into the unclaimed regions surrounding their nation. It goes without saying that their natural immunity to much of Africa's dangers has provided immeasurable benefits. So Liberia is a beacon towards Republican ideals in Africa. That's because they're inoculated to most diseases in Africa. And the climate and stuff like that, so it does help as far as the team goes. But, okay, so the conservatives and reactionary parties did win barely. And our army is here, so we're in a good position. They have 1.27. They are not building an army, though. I wonder why. The Wataran disputes. So Liberia's quick expansion into previously disputed and inhospitable territories of Africa has not come without its own dilemmas. New settlers in the region have predictably wandered into the territory of the northern tribal nations, and as a result, Liberia finds itself in a conflict with both of the neighboring tribes. So get the Ouattara and Jalon disputes event, perhaps an opportunity to help the expansion of Liberia. That is true. Oh, and we are at war. War. So the Liberian Ouattaran border dispute and Liberian Futari border disputes. They want to cut Liberia down in size, but Liberia wants to acquire all cores, so they're going to expand. All right, so let's send our army in. That's why we have our army here in Liberia. We'll wait until they get to here. Oh, they're still going to escape. Not for long. Honestly, can't wait for Victoria 3. Like, well, that's obvious. But, like, the higher amount of provinces is going to be so nice. I'm really looking forward to it. And plus, obviously, the graphic increase. For some people, might be an issue who normally play Victoria 2. But keep in mind that Victoria 2 will run slower. So if you play Victoria 2 right now and not have it slow too bad, you might be able to run Victoria 3 better as far as your processor goes. If your graphics card isn't that great, then obviously you might have issues. But as long as your graphics card is fine, you'll probably run Victoria 3 just fine as well, because it should be compatible or optimized for multi-cores or multiple cores for your processor. So I'm hoping it will actually run a little bit better. Yeah, let's have it end early, whatever that event is. So cheap coal, fantastic. And let's go straight for inorganic chemistry, and then we'll go for the other techs, iron steamers, and of course, Raider Group Doctrine. We'll probably want to get Raider Group Doctrine first in that case. Let's go ahead and take Odiene. I think if we get low healthcare movements it's actually not that bad right now. So we can go ahead and afford to probably increase our low healthcare. So that basically means that our population growth will increase even more. Our economy is doing extremely well. We're in a very good position. They will accept the offer, so acquire all cores from Atara. There we go. And Futa Jalon. So let's go over here and go ahead and take their capital. Excellent. This is the point where we probably want to get a second army here in Africa because things are going to go down. Of course, maybe it's not exactly roleplay friendly for me to actually know exactly what's going to happen. But, I mean, come on, it can't be perfect. Right, so they need these guys over here to join. Let's get them on the ship and send them straight to the rally point in, well, Philadelphia does not actually have a port, which is interesting. I think, doesn't Philadelphia border the sea? Where am I? Oh, too far north. They do have a sea connection, so they do have a harbor, but of course you can't build ships there, apparently. So Uruguay and Venezuela. Let's go ahead and increase our influence with them, too. So increase opinion over here in Venezuela. And Uruguay. Let's go ahead and increase our opinion there as well. And this will be finished rather shortly. And of course, you have the Liberians who now have 3 brigades. I can go ahead and actually give them war subsidies, and maybe that will help increase their war Paraguayan control over Uruguay. Really? They're winning? This Paraguay, guys, is like, something's wrong here. How are they fighting so well? They want to puppet them? This Paraguay, guys, is like nuts. Oh, that war is Spain too. Right, because Spain wants to control Peru. More or less resurgence. Can we actually do anything against Spain? No, we don't have any Casas Valles anymore. They will accept this offer. Let's go ahead and piece them out. And there we go. This obviously is not updated. So we're probably going to have to maybe reload the game in order to get that to update. Let's send our army back down. We should have... Well, they're not there just yet. Let's combine these armies, send them to this army, which has engineer. So one of those engineers could actually go ahead and go over here, down to Fredericksburg. I don't know where that other engineer went. Baltimore. There is no other engineer. That's confusing. I guess we'll make another one. And we can try making another army. We're not going to be able to fully man it just yet, but we can get into the process of doing so. Let's create 3 dragoons. We need 3 more pops for that army to finish. And this army is now completely done, so go to Trenton. So now we have 3 army stacks over here. We have an army stack down there, which apparently lost... Oh, they actually don't have any engineers to begin with. None. Our military is what? We have 2.5% of our population soldiers. 5% is obviously optimal, but... So we actually support up to 160 maximum as far as soldiers go, but it's going to naturally increase anyways. And I want to make sure our economy can support it. So we're not actually going to go ahead and push it too far. More social reforms. Anarcho-liberals are starting to gather. Same thing with militant socialists. I think we're still probably fine. The only reason it's going a little bit good or better is because obviously Democrats are in power, so they're more in favor for social reforms, and we have socialists who are always in favor, and then you have liberals who are somewhat or some of the time in favor. So of course you have some differences there. They are building up their army, so I'm glad that Liberia is doing that. And you can see that their nationality, they completely dominated these regions. And now they're expanding into these other regions of Africa. So if you look over here, you can see that they have a fair amount of Afro-American populations in each of these territories. Especially these ones over here that they colonized a little bit sooner. Bolivia wants allied, but we are not going to get caught up in that mess. Let's get another dragoons. We need 4 more engineers. And our nation is recovering from that sort of financial crisis from earlier. That was not fun. But it's recovering. We have a lot of capitalists. In fact, to the point where I'm kind of curious what the optimal amount is. At what point does the game say no more capitalists? Crisis state capitalist is at least 0.1%. Is there a max? Doesn't seem like it, but 0.1% appears to be the optimal amount of capitalists per state. And this state has 0.7%. So I can take it out of all the states except Mexico. Keep them in Mexico for now. Let's go ahead and keep changing them around. Is that it? No, Massachusetts is the last one, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and increase capitals in all those states. You can see that they have none in all those states. There's absolutely none. But now that we are building some, it should be a little bit better. If we go to our bureaucrats, for example, is 11% maximum here. Why is it so low? Literacy below 30%. So they need higher literacy in that region. Literacy is generally increasing across the board, so it might be mostly fine. But for any region that doesn't have enough literacy, I'm probably going to go ahead and remove them. So here in Mexico, for example, if we were to go ahead and check our literacy rates, there's actually a number of people who have literacy, but not the main population. So if we look at their population size, for example, and go to clerks, 37% literacy rate. So actually, it's probably fine. I'm not going to worry about it too much. It is increasing slowly across the board, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. And Turkey just went bankrupt. Oof. And do we have any other decisions that need to be taken? 4 North American unions obviously still there, but we need revolution and counter-revolution to do that. Which we will do as soon as we can. And now that we have inorganic chemistry, let's go ahead and switch back over here to the left side of the screen. Go for Raider Group Doctrine. Get some level 3 naval bases, so we can start producing those steamers as soon as we can. And then we'll probably shift over to Army Tech a little bit and try to get that as modernized as possible. Actually, no, we'll probably end up going for Revolution and Counter-Revolution in all likelihood. So let's go for... what am I doing? Right, politics. I need to know if our movements are to be worried about. So militant socialists are actually starting to come up. So let's go ahead and focus on a social reform that they want. They have 2.7 million people lobbying for minimum wage increases. So let's go ahead and do that. So you could see, like, it said that a certain, like, what, 75% of the upper house approved of it. So of course you have 56% of the conservatives because they're the ruling party, and you have 14.2% of the socialists. I'm assuming that's how it broke down a little bit. I'll probably have to go into here as soon as we get our next social reform. We're allowed to take and look into the details of it. We are being friendly with Uruguay, but I'm a little bit concerned here. Status quo is already there, but we can still join apparently. Oh, they've taken so much attrition. at their armies pretty much non-existent. That's interesting. Yes, almost a year responded. Let's get that prestige up. And Uruguay, we can go ahead and add them to our sphere. I'm not too worried about the war anymore, because Paraguay has lost pretty much all their army. Likely from attrition, I imagine. You see our supply limit here. It's pretty abysmal, and that's with our improved technology. It's like 15 or something, or 8. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. Like over here, for example, it's a lot better. Well, sort of. But we just have an owner, obviously, increase for it. And if they're invading hostile territory, it's obviously a different story. The west out here, though, is still pretty terrible, even if we own it. And the mountains here. It's a little interesting to look at that, isn't it? Alright, so American Liberia is not doing much here. They are now at 8 brigades. So I like that. Build up your army. They will, of course, help us in the future. And the Freetown incident. Oh, goodness, what's happening here? So the Freetown incident. Liberia's recent expansion has not gone unnoticed by the great powers in the region, most particularly the British. In an almost predictable turn of events, increased colonization efforts by Liberian settlers on the border of the British port in Freetown has caused a number of localized skirmishes. Most recently, a group of Liberian settlers who found themselves on the wrong side of the ambiguous border were massacred by British forces. Liberia has condemned the British actions against their people, while the British have asserted their claims on the territory. Concerning. So Liberia loses 5 prestige, but they gain Freetown as a core. What is going on? Uh-oh. That is for sure. So we're actually going to end this episode here. We're getting kind of close to the point where we're going to have a crisis breakout in here over in Africa. And we're going to have in a separate video all about that, while this one is all about Liberian expansion. So anyways, thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. As always, please leave a like down below and consider subscribing if you would like to see more content just like this, more frequent uploads. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.